Welcome to this presentation entitled The End of Time, a play upon words for the TID Conservation innovation. TID Conservation is a novel solution to the STS TID Rollover problem. The patent owner is Carney SmartWorks and the inventor Richard Stone. A TID is the short name for Unique Token Identifier defined in the STS specification and part of every credit token to ensure that a token can only be entered into a meter once. As per the STS specification, it is based on time in minutes since a known base date, the original base date being the 1st of January 1993, and is accurate to 1 minute. When a meter accepts a token, it records that TID value in its memory, what we refer to as the TID stack. The STS TID generation algorithm is easily shown on a graph, with the x-axis being the generation time and the y-axis being the TID date. You'll see that it's a straight line graph with a one-to-one correspondence. You will also see that as of the 1st of January 2017, we are approaching 80% of the way through the total value of available TIDs. Because the time span of the graph is 31 years, it helps to zoom into a small section to understand how TID values are consumed. If we have a look at a 10-day period, we can see that there are many more available TIDs per day than are actually used to generate tokens. And of course, once the time has gone past, the TID generation algorithm always requires that the next TID be greater than the previously generated one, so the previous ones can no longer be used. They are effectively lost. Every token generated has a unique TID. When the token is accepted by the meter, that TID value is added to the TID stack, and the oldest TID value in the TID stack is aged out. If the consumer tries to enter a token which has a TID value older than the very oldest TID value in the TID stack, it will be rejected as being too old. If the consumer tries to enter a token which has already been used, that TID value will already exist in the TID stack of that meter and will be rejected as a duplicate. As with the meter's memory, the TID value that can be used as part of the STS algorithm is also finite and cannot be increased indefinitely. Using the current STS TID algorithm, the TID value will reach its maximum value, which is actually a hexadecimal value of 6Fs, for the first 1993 base date on the 24th of November 2024. On this date, the TID value will start again from 0, and that's why we call it a TID rollover. And unfortunately, all subsequently generated credit tokens will be incorrectly rejected by meters as being too old. Of course, it's not possible to go back and reuse old TID values from the past because the TID stack mechanism inherently relies on the fact that the TID values only increase with time. The TID rollover situation is clearly illustrated if we return to our straight line graph. The dotted line shows the STS TID generation algorithm going into the future, and then on 24th of November 2024, it will roll over and start counting again from 0. Zooming in on the TID rollover date, we can see that the token generated at 8:15 on the 24th November will use the maximum TID value, after which a token generated 1 minute later will use the TID value of 0 because the number has exceeded the 6 hexadecimal digits. The meter will accept the token generated at 8:15 p.m. with the 6F digits, but unfortunately the next token generated at 8:16 p.m. will be regarded as being too old because it will be older than the oldest token that is in the STS meter's TID stack. Prior to the TID conservation invention, the process to deal with this particular issue is quite onerous. It involves clearing the TID stack and changing the key of the meter to ensure that old tokens cannot be reused and that the new tokens are not rejected. This requires a set of key change tokens to be entered into the meter, either by the consumer themselves or by a technician who has to visit the meter. The good news is that Carney SmartWorks has invented a simple solution to deal with the TID rollover problem, which is cheap, transparent, and can be implemented immediately. This, of course, is the TID conservation innovation, which conserves TID values and so significantly extends the maximum TID rollover date. It does this by a uniquely different TID conservation algorithm to the current one prescribed in the STS specification. In fact, even though we are 80% of the way through all the possible TID values, there are still many more TID values available if we act timeously. Therefore, the 2024 deadline is a limitation based on the current STS TID generation algorithm. Returning to our graph, we will recall that the STS TID generation algorithm has a one-to-one relationship between the generation time of the token and the TID value. A utility that wishes to adopt the TID conservation algorithm selects a particular date from which the algorithm will be applied, which we refer to as the transition date. You can see from the vastly reduced slope of the graph how the TID rollover date is greatly extended from the 2024 limitation. The TID conservation algorithm is parameterized. That means that the utility can choose the exact nature of which the algorithm should be based. If we zoom in for a particular 10-day period, we can see that in this particular example, a 10 times improvement can be used to conserve TIDs based on the remaining TID values from 2017. However, it is essential to realize that every day passes, and as 2024 approaches, potentially useful TID values are being lost, up to 1,440 per day, and less remain available. So it appears that, like electricity, TIDs are a limited resource. The number of TID values available to conserve reduces daily. The TID conservation solution is an invention that is proprietary to Kearney SmartWorks Pty and covered by South African complete patent applications as indicated. Patent applications in other territories will be obtained in due course. The TID conservation innovation is available to all vending system suppliers based on a licensing model. Interested parties can contact their vending supplier to incorporate TID conservation under license. Thank you for your attention.